The automation process is coming along nicely. It's almost complete. I've now switched to the goal shape again, so we should start manufacturing those pretty soon. As you see, the colors are getting a little confused here, as the old pieces are getting flushed out. So we've got combinations of all colors, but slowly we are transitioning into blue. Here we've got leftovers of purple, but we're getting into cyan, and blue and cyan are the only colors that we're gonna be needing for this shape. So as you see, the automation works pretty well. Now last time we made this little adjustment here. We've got a few wires and they tell us whether we do need to stack this shape onto another shape or not. If it's only one layer that we need, we are gonna send these shapes straight to the hub, and if not, we need to stack them with whatever comes here. This little thing allows us to create shapes with any number of layers that we want, from 1 to 4. Now, technically, we can't make more than 2 layers, as we've only got 2 of those factories, but it's easy to just copy-paste and create another 2 with that filter logic in place. Now there's one thing that we still can't do, which is create a layer of a shape which is missing 1 or more pieces. With these stackers here, we're stacking all 4 pieces that we've got, all the 4 corners. And today we need to fix this. So we need to add some logic to these stackers and allow the shapes to be assembled in such a way that they've got 1 or more pieces missing. Before we do that, I'm just gonna enjoy this beautiful moment as we complete the level. Once we got 6 a second of those shapes, there we go, we've got it. And this shape still looks pretty normal, in the sense that it's got 2 layers and it isn't missing any pieces. So now we just need to go to the main controls right here. This is the signal controlling the whole factory, and we tell it to manufacture this goal shape. Now I've realized something that I'm doing that's not that smart. Here we have the goal shape, and we need to see the bottom 4 corners, what colors they are. So these 4 paint mixers here can then make that color. So that's simple. We just analyze a corner of the bottom part of the shape and rotate it appropriately, so we always analyze a different corner. That's simple enough. Then we bring the whole shape information to the other factory, and here we have to unstack that shape and then do it again and analyze the top layer this time. Wouldn't it be much easier if we were to unstack the shape somewhere at the beginning? So this bottom factory would simply get the bottom shape, this factory would get the top shape, the second layer, and then we would have the third and fourth layer for the other factories. So we would outsource the logic and don't have so much duplicity, because here every piece, every part of this factory needs to unstack first. Same here, unstack, unstack. And now with the logic we're about to do just now, with the stackers, we would also have to unstack the logic to know which parts of the shape we actually need to create. So I think what I'm gonna do is we're gonna unstack and say bring the unstacked version to this part. And we can just start manufacturing new goal shape as well. So this wire goes all the way through the first factory, and then here it goes to the second factory. So just before we get to the second factory, I'm gonna unstack the shape. So now we're getting the shape that this factory is supposed to manufacture, which means that we no longer require this unstacking right here, as we've already got the shape itself as the information that's going in. Luckily, it didn't destroy my factory, as the unstacking can still happen and we've got the same shape, but I'm gonna edit these wires anyway. Okay, great, so the unstacking from these areas has been removed, and now we're just doing it here. With the item filter at the end right here, I'm just gonna leave this little logic, as it really requires the whole shape, or at least the first 2 layers, to be there. Now I've tried a little test and I've only input one layer here to see if this is still working. So here we're skipping the stacking process, which is correct because we only have one layer due to this being analyzed. And as for the unstacker here for the second layer, the way it's unstacked is that we still get the information from the first layer. So this part is manufacturing the same shape as the bottom part, but the manufactured shapes get stuck here anyway, since they're not being stacked anymore, which means that we are all good and all of this doesn't matter. Now I'm gonna switch it to the goal shape and it's gonna clear up in just a little while, hopefully. I mean, this is the first time that our factory has ever been stuck. So now we can get back to the original plan, which was, how do we create a shape with missing parts? I'm going back to this blueprint area where we've done all our experiments. I'm gonna move it a little bit to the left here, and let's imagine that we've got 4 incoming conveyor belts. There might be or there might not be shapes on these conveyor belts. We sure know that there's gonna be at least one. If we got no shapes at all, then the whole layer doesn't exist, which means that the layer stacking process doesn't happen at all. So here we only think about combining 1 to 4. Now the way I think this could work is if we split these 4 into 2 pairs. So first let's bring in a signal. We're not going to use the belt readers because that's just not reliable. So let's imagine that we are creating a shape, let's say a purple circle, like this. That's a purple circle, but we're gonna make it so that it's missing a piece. So this bottom left piece is now missing. Each of these conveyor belts has 1/4 of the shape. We're gonna index these the same way as we did before. So the leftmost conveyor belt is the top right corner and it's gonna go clockwise. So top right, bottom left, top left, right? Simple enough. Now we need to analyze bits of these shapes to know whether we've got stuff on the conveyor belt or not. And again, I don't want to use the belt reader because it's just not reliable. So we're gonna cut this shape up into bits, then we need to rotate them and cut again. I'm gonna keep the halves so they're on the top. So this I need to rotate 3 times so it's on the top. And this I only need to rotate once, so now it's on the top as well. For now, I'm just gonna put it back that it's the whole circle so it's easier to see what I'm doing. So now we have the top parts and I need to cut them again. Now I said starting from the left side, that should be top right corner. So let's take a look. The top right corner, it's this one on the top. Now we rotate it, so it's the one on the left now, which is this one. So this here is originally the top right corner. I just need to bring it to this belt, and this is the bottom right corner, which is the one that goes after that, and that's this conveyor belt. It's a little annoying that it's backwards, but it doesn't matter, that's okay. Now we should have the left bottom, that's this one, rotated. It's still on the left side, and when we cut it, it's this one. So that's this conveyor belt right here, and this remaining bit is the last conveyor belt that we've got here. So now we've got the information about the pieces here, and the logic is gonna be like this. If both of those have some sort of information on the wire, we don't really care which information it is, because we know we're gonna have the correct shapes, we can just stack them together. But if not, then we can merge them, because at most one of those is gonna have a shape, and bring them forward and skip the stacking process. So let's take some stackers. It doesn't really matter which stacker are we gonna use. Now, if these both two have a signal, then we stack. So if this and this, that's a 1 in this case. If they both have a signal, then you go there and you go there. So we're gonna need some filters here and here. If both are correct, then you both go ahead. But if I change it, so let's say the top right corner is gonna be empty, which means that this part has no signal. If we follow it, no signal, that's basically a 0, and a 1 is a 0, which means that both of those are gonna send the shapes to the right. And we know that only one of those, at most, is gonna be sent there. So we can merge those two together, and this conveyor belt can then skip the stacking process here, which means that we're also not gonna get anything from the stackers here. So again, we can merge this together. So this is how to stack 2 quarters of a shape with maybe one of them or both of them missing. The same thing we're gonna do here. So I can just copy all of this, copy, and okay, I'm gonna move it as well and place it here. And I'm gonna reconnect the wires so it makes more sense. And we do the same logic here. So copy this part to there, right, and we've got it. That's the same thing. Oh, look, I'm an idiot. This conveyor belt is supposed to go here. That's okay, we can just move the filter and prolong these wires. Same here, move the filter, fix the wires, there. Okay, so again, both of them are true, go ahead into these stackers. If not, go around. Now what happens then? Then we've got these bits. And again, those we need to stack, or maybe not. I'm just gonna copy the original bit, which is this, and we're gonna connect these parts, the output bits of the stackers to there. And now again we need to add some logic. So when should we stack those two together? Well, we do know when we don't want to stack, right? That's if we got at least a shape here, but no shapes here. We don't want to stack here when we only have shapes coming from this side or only from this side. Meaning that both of those at the beginning on the left side are empty, or both of those are. So what we're gonna do is use an OR gate. That's gonna tell us in this case, is at least one of them true? So do we have at least one shape? And we're gonna do the same thing here. So if at least one of those is true, and at the same time at least one of those is true, then we want to stack. So we just need to use an AND gate on both of those. That's the signal that we need to feed to these filters here. So now I think we are ready to test this. So I'm gonna feed 4 quarters to these, and let's make them all different. So we're gonna have, starting on the top right corner, we're gonna have a square, then bottom right corner is gonna be a windmill, bottom left corner is gonna be a star, and then I'm gonna place a trash can here because we need a circle. Right, there we go, nice. So as you see, some stuff is happening, but we're just feeding it the wrong signal. That's the signal right now. So in the end, we want a shape that's missing the top right corner. Let's see whether this works. Sort of does, sometimes. Oh, hold on, hold on, it's a little weird. So where is the top right corner? Why are these getting skipped? Like, what the hell? What's going on? That's totally wrong. Oh, it's messed up somewhere. Top right corner is missing, which means we've got no signal here. So that's a 0. Oh, right. Oh, I didn't realize. So I'm sending them both around, but we need to discard one of them. Okay, hang on. How does the automatic factory that we've got actually work right now? So imagine that we've got no signal here for the quarter because it's missing. So if the quarter is missing, then I think there's gonna be no signal here, right? Which means that the shapes are gonna get stuck. They're not gonna get painted, which means that we don't have to worry later about there being a shape. So I think that if this says the top right corner is not there, then I can simply cut off this conveyor belt because we're not gonna get any shapes there anyway. So it's cut off, and let's see what shapes are we actually making. Yes, that's the correct ones, apart from sometimes there being the square as well, because we've got still some squares left. Let's give it a minute. Yes, we've got it. So we said that the top right corner is supposed to be missing, and it is. Now let's try it when a half of a shape is missing. Let's skip the whole right part of the shape, which means that this here also isn't supposed to be there. It's the whole right part, so no shapes at all here, which means that they don't get merged, I believe, but it doesn't matter. Here, no shapes at all, and these are not being sent into the stacker, but around into here. And we've just got the left part of the shape. It's brilliant. I think it actually works. And the logic was quite simple. Now, I think we should be able to implement this, but I'm a little scared as to how that's gonna go. Changing it to the goal shape again, because if you take a look, we don't have much space to work with here. So that's gonna take some editing, but the first logic is gonna be here, then maybe skip, then these two are gonna go together into this one, or maybe skip, and then all three combined into this one, or maybe skip, and the output is gonna be here. That's gonna be a little messy. And the logic here is complete. Just for fun, I've started manufacturing those blueprint shapes here as well. So right now we are over 50, which means we got another achievement, and that's the last one, I believe, for those. But now let's take a look how this works. We're manufacturing those quarters here, and right here are the first filters. So those take the information from those, whether we even got the quarter or not. Those two together, via an AND gate, go into these filters. So if those both together are flowing, then we send them ahead, and those wires go into this stacker on the left. If not both of them are together flowing, then they go into this conveyor belt at the top, which then goes into the output of the original stacker. So they either get stacked, or one of them or none of them goes to here. So either way, here we have the output of those two quarters. The same then happens with the other two quarters. Again, the same logic. And then we've got some more gates. So again, these two quarters, or so at least one of them is flowing. So we've got at least one of the first two and at least one of the second two, and this goes into these two filters, which handle the outputs of the original stackers. So this stacker is for the two quarters, and maybe just one of them, those together, the other two quarters, or maybe just one of them, and the outputs go into these, which basically say, should we stack those, or is it just one conveyor belt that's ready? In that case, go around this stacker via this conveyor belt into here. And here the same logic, that's do we have another layer of a shape to stack. Now let's upgrade the belts. There. What speed are we at now? Still about 17 items per second. That's nice. So as you see, we've still got quite a lot of things to do in this game.